as we move forward. I yield back.
Thank you. The chair now yields to himself. Hope I said that right. All right. Ambassador, this question's for you. Are you familiar with the saying, peace through strength?
It's one of my favorites, Congressman.
Ambassador Sales, with all your experience in Homeland Security and counterterrorism, what does this saying mean to you?
Well, Congressman, it means that overwhelming American military capability is capable of deterring our adversaries. Whether we're talking about nation-state adversaries such as the Chinese Communist Party or Russia, or on a smaller scale, terrorist groups like ISIS, like Al-Qaeda. If the United States has the meaningful ability to deploy overwhelming force against our adversaries, we are far less likely to have to do so.
Colonel Douglas, in your own words, what do you think would be the opposite of peace through strength?
It'd have to be weakness, sir. The opposite.
You think it'd be fair to say chaos, maybe violence by way of weakness, something like that?
Yes, sir.
Ambassador Sales, are you aware that shortly after our disastrous withdrawal from Afghanistan that Russia invaded Ukraine?
I am, Congressman.
Another current event, Ambassador, are you aware that China flew a spy balloon over the entire U.S.?
I'm aware of that, sir.
Are you? This is for the entire panel. Are you guys aware that many of our economic partners and allies around the world are ditching the U.S. dollar right now, putting the dollar in danger of no longer being the global reserve currency?
Well, Congressman, I wouldn't necessarily consider Lula's Brazil a partner of the United States, but the broader trend you've identified is exactly right.
Thank you, Ambassador. Ambassador Sales, I'm wondering if, like any of the constituents that I talked to, you see any connection between the weakness and incompetence that we showed in Afghanistan and some of these other world events that I just mentioned, or if you think that this is just a spurious, non-connected chain of events.
Well, Congressman, if I could take this back to Osama bin Laden, I think he said something that is instructive several decades ago. When people see a strong horse and a weak horse, they prefer the strong horse. A weak America invites aggression. A weak America invites instability. And to the extent the United States appears weak on a world stage, that's not only bad for our homeland security, it's not only bad for our national security and foreign policy interests, it's bad for the stability and security of the whole world.
Thank you. Colonel Douglas, you were a Marine officer for 31 years, is that correct?
Yes, sir, it is.
I'm just a Navy guy, and I'm familiar that in the Marine Corps, you guys often like to joke around and say you're the men's department of the Navy. Is that correct, Colonel?
Sir, I've never said that. You and I share some close associates.
Thank you for your tact, Colonel. I appreciate that. Colonel, in your opinion, who does bear the ultimate responsibility of the dead Marines, the billions of gear we left behind, the equipment left behind, and the global chaos we see unfolding after the Afghanistan withdrawal?
Sir, I think the president said it best when he said the buck stops here, and I think that's where we need to stay, is the buck stops here.
Colonel, in the Marine Corps, when they were teaching you guys leadership, what they teach you about accountability?
The one thing that, one of the many things they taught us was you can delegate responsibility, you cannot delegate accountability.
Colonel, do you see any accountability for this withdrawal of Afghanistan and our dead Marines?
At this point, we have not seen accountability.
Colonel, what would you like to see happen going forward?
Acknowledgement that that there could have been better options, and that our withdrawal was in fact chaotic.
Ambassador Sells, I'll ask you the same question. What would you like to see moving forward?
I'd like to see accountability, Congressman, for a colossal foreign policy and national security failure of the sort that we saw in Afghanistan. I would like to see accountability for the decisions that were made.
Do you think that's possible after watching the video that we watched at the beginning of this hearing?
Well, Congressman, I have to say I was discouraged by the statement that the White House put out a week or so ago, which seemed to be more interested in pointing fingers than in learning lessons. I'm hopeful that congressional oversight can help bring the accountability that's needed.
Thank you, Ambassador. I yield my time.